Hey everybody, welcome. My name is HawaH. I've been teaching yoga for about 13 years, and yoga very much is a practice that I embrace as one of the greatest means for me to get into my body, for me to loosen up the cobwebs, for me to remove back pain and any kind of leg pain that might occur. So it's a simple access point, and today I'm going to talk you through a really simple sequence that's going to help you just get a little bit more mobility, a little bit more flexibility, and a little bit more deeper into your breath and your awareness of your body. So this will be a seated posture, seated sequence that we'll be doing. So we're going to begin by sitting and twisting. So as we sit, we typically end up having a hard time crossing our legs. And so the first thing we're going to learn today is to use a block. And if you take a block and you sit on a block, you'll find that often it's a lot easier to get your knees down towards the ground. And if you can sit with your knees closer to the ground, you're going to be a lot more straight in your spine. And so you want the spine nice and straight. And sometimes if you elevate your hips, you'll find that it's going to help you do that. So we're going to start by taking our left hand and placing it behind our back and lifting our right arm up into the air. We're going to take the right hand and cross it over our bodies and catch hold of the outer edge of the left thigh. And then taking that right hand, pulling with the right hand, you're going to turn and look over your left shoulder blade. You'll take a few deep breaths here. And with every exhalation, you're going to see if you can turn just a little bit deeper. Good. Then you're going to come forwards. We're going to switch sides. Taking the left hand, wrapping it up and over the body, taking the right hand behind you, and pushing the right hand into the earth behind you. You'll peel the body over. You'll feel a compression maybe in your right kidney. And that's one of the beautiful things about yoga. It really gets us into the internal organs. And when we compress the internal organs, we release a lot of the blood from the organs, and we help to push and oxygenate those organs, such as the pancreas and the liver, and the kidneys with fresh blood. Good, so we'll turn and face forwards. Now you're going to lift the arms up into the air. You're going to turn the palms up to the sky and reach the arms up nice and high. You'll see my outer triceps are getting really long. And you kind of just move a little bit from left to right and just see how that feels. You want to just become a little bit more aware of the body and what's going on. Good, and exhale. Take the hands down. This is a simple pose called Ardha Garudasana. It's the half eagle. Take the left hand in front of you. You're going to take the right arm and thread it underneath the left hand. And then see if you can join your palms together in front of you. You'll notice that you'll feel a lot of wonderful opening in your outer shoulders. If you push the elbows together, you're going to feel a little bit more of a broadening of the upper back. So you could even work on taking the elbows higher and dropping the shoulder blades. Yeah? Good. Now release the arms, unwind, and lift the arms into the air with me. And then exhale. Hands come down the middle. Okay, take the right hand into the air. And now take the left arm and thread it under the right. Now some of you will find that you can't catch hold of the inner palm. And that's okay. If you can't get there, just do your best to work that right shoulder over and then just see if you can get as close as you can. Sometimes you want to catch your thumbs, and that'll help you if you can catch your thumbs. And then slowly with time, you'll be able to get that hand up and over. Yeah? Let's take one more deep breath here. Push the elbows together, lift the arms. Good, and exhale, release. Take those arms down and then lift them up into the air. And then exhale, hands come down the heart. Okay, great. So we're going to come forwards, we're going to remove the block, and we're going to sit facing the front of our mats. And from here, we're going to just do some simple twisting, because twisting, it's one of those movements that we don't get a lot of in our daily lives. And so it's something that's really important that we're considering. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the right leg up and in. You're going to bring the right leg in towards the hip bone. And I want you to hug that right thigh into the chest by taking your left hand and wrapping it around. Now you take the right hand up in the air, and place it behind your back. Sometimes it's really helpful. If you take a block, you can place the hand even on a block behind you. That's going to give you some lift. So you'll notice what happens is my back straightens when I put it on the block. If I'm here and I'm splayed backwards like this, you'll notice I'm not really getting integrity in my twist. So I want you to either be high and on your fingertips as you turn and twist, or if you can't do that with your hand, then use a block. That'll help you lift higher. And as you twist, keep pulling that right thigh into the chest. Good, you're going to unwind slowly. You'll take the right foot forwards. You'll pull the left leg in. We're going to repeat the action on the other side, yeah? So the right hand is going to wrap. You're going to hug the left thigh into the chest. What's really important here, what I'm doing is I'm sucking in my belly and I'm pulling my navel in so that my navel goes closer to my spine. That allows me to get my leg in closer, and that allows me to lengthen my spine. So you take a deep breath in, and then you exhale. And as you exhale, you twist in the other direction. I'm hugging with the right arm as I twist. Sometimes what I see a lot of my students do, they do this kind of shoulder to ear pose. That's not really what we're trying to do, right? So what I want you to do is work that left shoulder blade down and away from the ear as you turn. And that's going to relax all the muscles of your neck. Beautiful. And then you'll unwind slowly. You'll take the legs forwards. And now we're just going to do a simple forward fold. What's really helpful on a forward fold sometimes is if you move some of the flesh of the buttocks out of the way, and you get the back straight and long, lift the arms into the air. Take a deep breath in, and you'll exhale. And as you exhale, you'll fall forwards. Sometimes your hands are not going to reach your toes. When I started practicing yoga, I looked a lot like this, right? So over time, what you're going to find is you're going to get longer and longer, and your body will open up slowly. The more you practice, the more the body will awaken. I would recommend at least 3 to 4 practices a week of at least 45 minutes to an hour. And now you can tell as I catch the outer edges of my feet, I'm going to flatten my spine, right? So the spine is not rounding, but the spine is lengthening. And then with that length, you can begin to pull with the arms, yeah? And then working the forehead down towards the shins. Good. Take a breath in. You're going to lift up, and we're going to take the legs in one more time. So these last couple of pieces we're going to do standing a little bit in a Malasana. This is known as Malasana, where we sit with our feet at about 45 degrees. So our knees are following the lines of our toes. We're going to take our elbows into the inner thighs, and we're going to push with our elbows, and we're going to get a little bit longer in the spine. So what that looks like from the side. So here, and instead of rounding the spine, what I'm doing is I'm lengthening and getting long in the spine. Great. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take the left hand, work it down and long, along the outer edge of the left foot, and just take the right hand up into the air. And you'll push into the inner left thigh with the left tricep as the right hand reaches. Good. Take a breath out and take the right hand down. You switch sides. The right hand is going to pull long, and the left hand is going to reach up. And then the left hand will come down. This final pose is known as Ushtrasana. It's the camel pose. For the camel pose today, sometimes I recommend that we're going to fold the mat just a little bit to give some cushion for the knee. So as we fold the mat, that'll just give you a little bit of cushion for your knees in case you need it. You're going to come with your feet behind you about hip distance apart. If you're not sure what hip distance apart is, you can take the block, place it between the feet. You can kind of grip the block with the feet. And that's going to help you know what hip distance is. That's going to protect the spine and keep integrity in the body as you move into Ushtrasana. Now, this is a really nice way to get into a good back bend. What I recommend is you turn the fingertips up to the shoulder blades, You push the heels of the palms down onto the sacrum as you work the hips forwards and you open the chest to the sky. Now I'm putting a lot of pressure into my tailbone with my hands, and what that does is that releases compression in my lower back and it allows me to stretch into my thoracic spine, which is the upper part of my spine. So take a couple more deep breaths here. And then come forwards. Now, if that was a lot for you, if that was pretty intense, you can just do that again. We'll take the hands, turn them up, and just working the hips forwards. What I want you to avoid doing is this. A lot of times you'll notice your hips are going to fall back and off-center alignment from the knees. I want you to work your hips forwards, and as the hips move forwards, you lean deeper back. So if you made it this far, you can work slowly one hand down to a heel, and you can take the other hand in the air. This is known as HawaH Ustrasana. And you can breathe deep into the belly and the chest. Good. So taking the hand back to the lower back, you can work your way up. And if you want a little break in between that, you come into what we call a child's pose. You can take the hips back and work the hands forwards. And take the forehead down to the ground. We're going to finish the other side, so we're going to lift back. Your variation, whatever you need. We'll take the hands back to the lower sacrum. We'll begin to arch, and then we'll take the opposite hand this time, up and over. We'll take the left hand in the air, and we'll spread open and long into HawaH Ustrasana, half count. And then coming back up slowly. You have now completed the very simple, easy twisting, forward bending, and back bending sequence. Took you about 12 minutes. You might even break a little sweat. I promise you, you're going to feel a lot better when you're finished. Do this for yourself every day, about a half an hour, and I promise you, you will feel amazing inside and out. I'm HawaH. I'll see you again soon.